Hi, this is Jack Freeman for Esports News UK, and I'm here with DrewSpark, the assistant coach for Sentinels Valorant team. So, first of all, congratulations on winning Masters Madrid. Now that you've had some time to process everything, what, in your opinion, makes Sentinels the best team in the world right now?
Thank you very much. What makes us the best team in the world right now? I think it's just the sheer amount of repetitions we've had, both through practice and through matches. We've practiced more than any other team in the world. We've definitely played more matches than any other team in the world, especially compared to our own region. So when it came to kickoff, we were the most ready to really win that tournament and go to Madrid as I would say like solid favorites, just again based on our off season and kickoff record. And yeah, we were able to justify all of our practice and all of our hard work and realize it in the grand final against Genji and a few other strong opponents. So really proud of the guys for putting in the work in the off season. And yeah, like it feels very validating to be able to take home the first Masters of this year.
For those who don't know, you used to be an analyst for Rainbow Six Siege with Exit. Can you tell us more about your transition from Rainbow Six into Valorant?
Yeah, so as you say, I was with Exit Rainbow Six. I joined them just after Split One of 2001. It was a roster that had qualified from the Challengers into Pro League, so it was still finding its footing as like a premier team. And unfortunately, with my help, we weren't able to get the results that we wanted. We ended up in the relegation match, and we ended up going down actually in that relegation match, and it was pretty low point for all of us involved, of course. However, there was a bit of a it was honestly perfect timing for me individually because the work I was doing with the Rainbow team was recognized by the organization and by some of the other teams within the Exit organization. And at the same time, their Valorant project was going really well, but it was run by a solo coach, and he was looking to expand. And having already networked with Psycho, and obviously Marco, the COO at the time, both who now currently work for MAT. Yeah, like he like pinpointed me immediately as someone that he would like to bring on to help him and to bring the work that I was doing with, in Rainbow along to Valorant to be able to help him with his coaching system. So I I was a little bit fortunate. I definitely look back at my Rainbow career as one of disappointment. I didn't feel like I had achieved much, considering how long I'd been there and how many teams I'd been on. But I was very thankful to be able to take this lifeboat of an opportunity to go to Valorant, which is obviously at the time it was a crazy opportunity to jump ship to a game that has become what we know it to be today and will continue to grow bigger in the future.
And then, for those who are still curious, do you still follow Rainbow Six Esports and do you plan to attend the upcoming major in Manchester?
I probably won't be able to attend the Manchester Major just because of schedule conflicts. I've actually never been able to attend any major for that same reason, which is really frustrating for me, even the American ones. But I do still follow it. I follow the North American League at least, just because I've always worked with North American teams, so those are the players and the teams I know best. And I have some good friends in the talent side of it as well. So I'm always showing support to those guys. Um, and yeah, like I wouldn't I'm not gonna claim to be an expert on like the high level minutiae of the game anymore, but I still enjoy watching the game. I think it's one of a kind and it's a great esport that just needs a little bit more support.
More support, how so? What do you think?
It needs more support from the developer. I think Ubisoft are a little bit fresh to running an esport, but it has been like 8, 9 years now. And um I'd love to see in the future maybe they like completely revamp the game, kind of like Overwatch did, or they like make some big step towards supporting the esports ecosystem. But I understand that that's not the first priority of a developer, but it would go a long way because honestly, the only thing that holds back Rainbow from being a tier one esport is just the game itself. Honestly, there could be a lot more. Uh, yeah, there could be a lot more added to the esports experience to make it. I guess to take it to the next level.
And so, moving back to Valorant, during your run through playthroughs at Masters Madrid, you not only had the British fans behind you, but also the Scottish fans. Can you tell us about how you felt to see such strong support from the Scottish esports community?
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. I'll never get used to having fans, especially those who, I mean, no one's really like traveling out just to see me, unless it's like my family. But it is nice to have people from my own country recognize the work that I do, which is mostly invisible and behind the scenes as well. Like it's not my job to really take the spotlight, so it is always really nice when I get recognized through social media or like at the event as well, and there's people are like, oh, like it's like they notice the kill or they know my story, and I'm just like, how do you know my like who's taking an interest here? So it's always a very surreal experience for me, but definitely a positive one.
I was gonna say, you kind of drew attention to yourself with wearing the kilt on stage during the tournament, and especially in a tree during that tournament, you mentioned that it represents your family trees. So for those who aren't so familiar, can you tell us more about a kilt and how you managed to make it onto the stage of one of the most viewed Valorant series ever?
So yeah, so like the kilt is just it's traditional dress, and you normally wear them at you'll see them a lot at like weddings and funerals and stuff, but you also see them in a lot of informal settings too. And for me, I chose the kilt because it's a an expression of myself. It allows me to show my personality, and also for those who don't know, like there are hundreds of different patterns or tartans as we call them, and they all represent different family trees or like certain branches of the family tree. So the one that I wear on stage is from my own family. So by wearing the kilt, I'm not only representing my country and expressing myself in the way that I want to, but I'm also representing my family too. And it's a way for me to, I guess, um, you know, like it's just nice to be able to represent my family because they were a big reason. They've enabled a lot of everything I've done in life when it comes to like various career paths that I've wanted to go down, including esports, especially during the pandemic when times are really hard. So um, yeah, like it's nice to be able to bring them on stage with me.
Yeah, that must have been very special for you. Uh, so on top of everything else, Valorant also has most recently released a new Scottish agent in Clove. As you have a unique perspective on this, I just wanted to get your thoughts uh, on Clove, both from a character and gameplay perspective.
Yes. So obviously I'm hyped to see a Scottish agent in the game. And by the way, even though I work with a pro team, I don't know any sooner than anyone else does about upcoming agents and like character design and stuff. So it caught me by surprise, as much as anyone else, but I was definitely delighted to see um a Scottish agent in the game, and I love the design as well. Maybe I'm just biased, but um, I think it's great. I think the purple butterfly theme works really well with the game and with the characterization. And in terms of like the agent themselves, I think Clove is really fun to play. I think Clove is by far the most fun agent to play in ranked right now, especially if you're a support player. It allows you to inherently play supportive with your smokes and some of your setup utility, but it also gives you the ability to take over rounds in like a Reyna-esque way, um, because you just don't have this shadow hanging over you of, oh, I can't die because then I don't have my utility, and that's something that makes Clove really unique to the game. Um, and yeah, like again, like in a rank setting is just perfect because it just allows you to be able to have the freedom to do things that you want without worrying about letting down your team. Yeah, I've basically one tricked Clove since Clove came out. There's definitely certain maps that work for Clove better than others, and that's the same with most characters in Valorant. Um, but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, and yeah, I've definitely become a one trick.
Are you allowed to say which maps are more favored towards Clove?
I won't go into too much detail, but I think I think Clove works well on most maps. The problem that Clove will have in like say a pro setting is just that Omen is kind of better, in a lot of respects. Um, I think Clove's advantages are like the smoke mechanics, like obviously being able to use them post mortem, and so that essentially gives you like 4 to 5 smokes on any given round, and as long as you go with your positioning, those smokes can be impactful. Um, so like maps where like mid rounding is really important, uh, like on attack, for example, that could be really good. Or like if you're like anchoring an area of the map, you can just always smoke a choke or two. Um, but the thing with Omen is that the one ways are still really strong, and Omen is like the one way king, right? So there's no other smoke agent that really compares to him in that way. And the paranoia is still one of the best abilities in the game too. So when you're thinking about building your composition, if you're just looking to one for one Omen for Clove as like a starting point, it gets really tough to do that, especially since Clove has no verticality too, which is another thing that is important in Valorant, in terms of like different looks and providing some questions for the attack in particular. And yeah, like again, Omen is just extremely strong in the game right now. So I do think Clove can be good, but I would, I dare say, I want to see like a nerf to Omen in order to bring them in line with each other. Um, but that's kind of my initial impression so far.
With Sentinel's pseudo model being buy the bundle, I think it's fair to say that the organization is happy with this new revenue share model. But what are your thoughts on esports bundles, and do you think more esports titles should implement them?
I do. I think it's a easy middle ground the, for the for the developers to support the esports ecosystem. Um, just because again, like I understand that like a publisher's first priority is not going to be esports. It's a very small sector. It's essentially like a marketing loss lead for most publishers. And I'm happy that Riot puts more of a emphasis on developing its esports side. But just having a skin in the game for an organization is a big deal. You're able to make some revenue off of it, especially if it's like a consistent thing. Like for Valorant, those bundles will be in the shop all year round, I believe, right? So they're going to be able to make revenue and promote it as they like, along as long as it's within the publisher's regulations. And yeah, to me, it feels like a missed opportunity if you're a, a developer that has a game that has a solid esports following, and you're not looking to bring microtransactions through those organizations into the game, because apart from anything else, it's just more money to the publisher, since they're going to take a cut, and it's just a very easy way to keep the esports interest from the organization perspective.
Looking ahead, currently Sentinels are 1-1 in VCT's America. I think obviously the goal is to reach Master Shanghai. Uh, what's the team's approach to reaching that ultimate goal?
We came into the split with the message of this split from Kaplan, our head coach, was like, guys, we won Madrid, we got a mastership, we got 6 points towards champs. But in terms of Shanghai, we're 0-0. Like we our champs points count for nothing in terms of qualifying for Shanghai. And we want to go to Shanghai, right? So I appreciate the congrats for Madrid and everything, but at the same time, we're all like trying to put it behind us. Like it's kind of old news to us now, and we want to focus on the next mastership. We want to win everything this year, and the only way to win everything this year is to fully focus on the task at hand. So that was the mentality, really. It was just we're on even footing with every other team, and the way that the format is as well, it's like it's every match matters because you can't really control what goes on in your own group, and the seeding within your group, assuming you make playoffs, is really important because of that buy in playoffs. If you are the first seed in your group, so yeah, like we're 1-1 right now, and there's other matches to be played, and we ultimately are not in control of our own destiny, even if we do go undefeated in our group for the rest of this split. Um, so we're just going to show up and play our best Valorant, and continue to evolve as a team. And hopefully that means qualifying for Shanghai along the way, and putting on another good showing at Masters too.
Well, best of luck with that. Uh, oh, sorry, and lastly, is there anything else that you would like to say?
Um, just a shout out to the sport I've had recently. Like I've again, like it's been a little bit surreal for me during Madrid and like kind of post Madrid. Like the Masters win, the perfect storm of clothes being released on the same day, the Scottish support, the skill, the kilt, and everything like that. Just want to say, like, I do support it all. I'm kind of learning to deal with it in like a professional manner. But I do appreciate all of the sport, and yeah, like a shout out to my family as always, for being a big part of that too.
Right. Well, thank you for your time and best of luck with reaching Master Shanghai.
Appreciate you, Jack. Thank you.
Thanks.